So in this lesson, we are going to learn about Python list. So Python list is one of the Python data structures, which are lists, sets, tuples, and dictionaries. So these data structures basically they allow us to store multiple values in a single variable. So far, what we've been dealing with, so we've been saying, for example, fname, then gen, for example. So you see these are variable fname and it will only store a single item. So what if now we want to store multiple items in a single variable? That is now when the data structures come in. So for example, let's say I want students, and in these students I want to store Jane, I want to store Jeremy, I want to store John. So now data structures will allow us to be able to store multiple values in a single variable. So for example, for a list, we only need to enclose this one with a square bracket. So we have the variable name, which is the students, which is now our list, and the list items should be enclosed in a square bracket. So we have Jane, Jeremy, John. These values should be separated with comma. So the syntax, for example, the syntax should be a variable name should be square brackets, then you will say value 1 comma value 2 comma value 3 and so on up to value n. So in this case I was storing strings, so the reason why I put quotes, but if it is numbers you only need to put commas. So for example, let's say you want to store max, so my variable is max, then square bracket, so I have 50, 90, 56, 43, 67, 78. So for example, let's say these are the student marks. So these are the marks that students scores in a certain subject, in certain subjects. So now you see this will allow us to store multiple values in a single variables. So a list uses square bracket. So for something to be treated as a list, you have to put it in square brackets. So let's say we want to check the data type of our list. So we'll say type. Of course, we need to print. Then we say type of students. So as you can see here, my students list is all strings. If I run, so you see it is giving me the list. Also, if I check the other one, print type, then student marks. So we have another, so we have list. So now this is a list. So when we put values, we enclose it inside the square brackets, then we get a Python list. And so let's say we want to print out Jeremy. In our other examples, if we wanted to print out this Jane, we will say print fname, and it will print us Jane. So that is in the case we have one variable for a single value. So if I say print and I say students, you see, this is what we get. We get the entire list. So now, what if I want to print Jane? So in a list, if you want to access an item in a list, we use index. So we have two types of indexing. Types of indexing. So one is positive indexing. So positive indexing means we start from the left. So we start from Jane, Jeremy, then John. So the index number for this one is 0. So the first item in a list, if you are using positive indexing, we start it from 0. So it's 0, 1, 2. So I have index 0, index 1, and index 2. So if I want to print Jane, I will say print, then I will get the name of my list, which is students, then I will put square brackets. So then in these square brackets now I need to put the index number. So we've said from the left, using positive indexing, the first value always starts with 0. So I'll put 0. So this means I'm printing the first item in my list, students. So if I run, I get J. And that goes on. So let's say I want to print the second one. So the second one is always 1. So if I print, I get Jeremy. And the last one is 2. So you see, I get John. So always, if you want to access an item in the list, use indexing. So if you're using positive, start from 0, 1, 2, 3. So also let's say we want to print 67. So if I want to print 67, I'll say print, the name of the list is student marks. So I can copy that, paste it, then use square brackets. So 67 is index number 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I put 4 and run my print, so you see I get 67. And also we have number 2, we have the negative indexing. So negative indexing means we are starting now from the right. So if we go back to this list, or I can copy it and we can reuse it here. So negative indexing means we start from the left, from the right. We start from the right. This is John, Jeremy, Jane. So and these, the index are negative. Index are negative. And this one starts with -1. So the first item from the right is -1. So we don't have 0. So in the case of positive, we are saying 0 for the first item from the left. But now in the case of negative indexing, the last item is -1. So -1, -2, and -3. So if I print, let's say I want the last item. So the name of the list is students, and I say -1. So which means the last item from the list. So you see, I get John. If I want the second last item, student list, then I put -2. So the second last item is always -2. So it's -1, -2, and -3. So those are the ways you can access item from a list. But generally we've said we have lists so that they can be able to store multiple values in a single variable. So list items are ordered, changeable, which means mutable, and allow duplicates. So these are properties. So properties of a list. The properties of a list is they are ordered. So meaning 0, 1, 2. So for you to access something in a list, you have to use indexing. So in that particular order. So you can use the positive or the negative indexing. So always, if you always say 0, it will always give you the first item in the list. If you say 1, the second item in the list, 2, and so on. So it means they are ordered. They are changeable, so we can also change the items in a list. So for example, let's say I want to change this from Jane to another name. So first we've said how can we access this. So we have to say students, the name of the list, square bracket 0. So this means I'm accessing Jane because it is index 0. So if you want to confirm, you can say, you can print it and say, so you see I'm accessing Jane using the index number. But in this case I did not want to print, I just wanted to change. So once I've accessed this Jane, I can now say, use my assignment operator, which is the single equals to, and say I want this Jane to be Mark. Then I run. So now if I print the new student list, print student list, so you see I get Mark, Jeremy, and John. So it means I've changed the value of Jane from Jane to Mark. So this is how you change the values in a list. So in this case we are saying list is mutable. You can change any value in a list. And also they allow duplicates values. So also a list can allow duplicate values. So let's say here I want to add another John. So you see this one and this one are the same. There's no problem at all with having duplicates in a list. So if I run now this one, I get Mark, Jeremy, John, and John. So those are the three properties of our list. They are ordered using indexing, changeable, you can be able to change a value in a list, and also they allow duplicate values. So list items are indexed. The first item as index 0, the second item as index 1. So this is the case of positive index. And also we've seen we have negative indexing, which starts from the right, and the first value from the right is always -1, the -2, -3, and so on.